All right, real quick, because the other video cuts off the beginning. This video I'm making is going to be for anybody trying to build a set so you can build it on your own. The intro of the video you're about to see got cut off, so this is just an intro into the intro. And now I'm going to get into a disclaimer about why you should be AR-45 before you focus on that. Anyways, enjoy the video. Reminder, this is for you if you are farming domains. You should not be farming domains to AR-45. I'm going to throw the disclaimer real quick before I get really into it. So, where's the majority of this character's damage? Where does her kit synergize? If we look at whenever she is leveling up, if we ascend her, we can see she gets geo damage bonus per every level up, correct? So we can see that, maybe we want to prioritize more into geo damage. So at that point, we're going to go for our Archaic Petra set, a 2-piece of it, to gain 15% geo damage bonus. Then we look, okay, out of all of her talents, where is most of her damage coming from? Normals, skill, or burst? If we look into burst, damage per gem, 130% with a 40 energy cost. It's on a really low cooldown. You're going to get her burst really often. And then it's additional projectile, and it shoots a ton of jades. So we can say relatively safely that a lot of her damage is going to come from burst. So at that point, we want to go with a Noblesse Oblige set, which would be right here. 2-piece elemental burst damage plus 20%. So knowing that, we have this set now. Now we want to look into the weapons. Well, now, what are we lacking? Now that we have the set that we want, what do we want stat-wise? If we go to her stats, we go to details, we can see, oh, crit rate's pretty low, but crit damage is high. I can sacrifice some crit rate, or I can sacrifice some crit damage to better build up crit rate. Or her attack is really high at 2500 attack. I can sacrifice attack to build up crit rate. So where can I build crit rate? I can get crit rate as a substat in a weapon. Obviously, these are 5-star weapons, not a good example. But I can get crit rate as a substat in a weapon, or I can get crit rate over as on helmet. So I can sacrifice helmet for crit rate. So this is just giving you an example of what you need to think about whenever you're building. And then whenever you're looking at it, you're going to say, okay, now what's going to be better for me? Is it going to be this crit damage helm that has no attack percent on it at all? Or is it going to be this attack percent with half the crit damage that comes with that, but I get 50% attack on it? Obviously it's going to be this one, right? Because that's 27% crit damage along with 47% attack versus 62%. You're losing about half the crit damage, but you're gaining more attack. So it's going to be what you have versus what you need. And you're just going to keep slowly working on it. Like this, geo damage percent, we've already established that she deals purely geo damage, being a catalyst user. So geo damage percent bonus is going to be post damage calculation added to it, and it's just going to keep going up and up. So obviously we're going to want to put this piece on her too. With this, we can see she needs crit rate, she needs crit damage, and it has attack percent. She's a DPS, so you're going to want crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, energy recharge, etc. on it. And then for this exact same thing. Attack percent, crit damage, energy recharge. HP is just a byproduct. If you have 3 out of 4 substats, that's good enough. You don't need perfection, okay? You do not need perfection. So that's her, for example. So in closing, we're going to want to farm a Wanderer's Troop. We're going to want to farm Archaic Petra and Noblesse Oblige because those two accentuate her strengths. So now, for example, let's go to a character I haven't built yet, but I plan on building. Jin Kui. Let's go to Jin Kui, for example. He's close to being built, but not entirely. So Jin Kui, let's first, before anything, let's look at his level up. We can't look at level up bonus, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like water damage or something like that. So let's assume it's water damage because I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, cool. Then we're going to see how can he help the team. We check this out. We look to see that, oh, his R2, which deals hydro damage at a high multiplier for 2 hits, basically a charged attack, but way better, has a 15-second duration, 21-second cooldown, and it reduces damage taken. But it also increases hydro damage bonus, and it puts a status effect that can transfer to allies. Okay, so we can see that he is more of a support character. So then we go to his ult. His ult, we can see it's a very high cost ult at 80%, but then it puts out extra damage. Every attack applies Hydro, and he can constantly help his team. So we can already establish that two things are wanted here: Hydro damage percent, Hydro damage bonus percent, and energy recharge are obviously his two most important stats already because he has long cooldowns and he has high energy costs. We look to his next one, we can see he has healing. So at that point, what would we want to do? He's going to be ulting often, he's going to heal. At that point, what do we want to do? Well, for artifacts, what we're going to want for helmet is healing bonus percent. I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any, but healing bonus percent as a helmet or crit rate, either one, because he's going to be a hybrid DPS slash healer. But I personally am going to go crit rate. And then he's going to be ulting often with the way we want to build him, which is going to be energy recharge percent. If you were going to build him as a DPS, it would be different. So because he's going to be ulting often, we want the 4-piece Noblesse Oblige set, because using an elemental burst increases all party members' attack by 20% for 12 seconds. And then we're going to want energy recharge right here on this. To accentuate his energy recharge and build it up, we have attack percent to go with the substat. That way he can deal more attack. We want HP too because he's also heals based on his max HP. So we of course want to increase his HP at the same time. Here we have another flower, energy recharge, attack percent, elemental mastery for stronger hitting elemental reactions. You guys get what I'm getting at now so far with these sets and how to build them? So far, these two have been pretty much the same. Let's go to Venti. Alright, let's see how Venti works, for example. We can see Venti has really low crit, but we can see he has insane energy recharge. So if we ascend him, energy recharge. So then we have to establish what role is he going to play in the team. If we go to Venti's talents, we can see that he has a lot of CC. Summons, and it creates elemental energy for Venti whenever you do this, whenever you hit R2. And then for his ult, we all know what Venti's ult does, and it creates constant swirls every 0.4 seconds. And it lasts for 8 seconds with the medium energy cost of 60. Bracing the winds, holding Skyward Sonnet, it creates an upcurrent that lasts for 20 seconds. You should never be doing that in a fight. It generates 15 energy for Venti, so we can see he's going to be creating a lot of energy for himself and for other team members through his second talent, or through his second passive, and through his ult. So at that point, we're like, okay, what set would be good for an Anemo-based support who's going to be dealing a lot of elemental reactions and who's going to want a lot of energy recharge percent? So we settle on Viridescent Virenir, which increases Anemo damage bonus by plus 15%, increases swirl damage by 60%, decreases opponent's elemental resistance to the element of fuse into swirl by 40% for 10 seconds. See, that's huge because then it gives... Let's say our Kaching, let's say we infuse the swirl with Electro. It gives Kaching 40% more damage, essentially, effectively, because it decreases the opponent's elemental resistances by 40%. Elemental resistances can't go into negatives. They cannot. So it'll just be 0, so you'll do more damage that way. Okay, then we go into the stats. What stats does Venti want? Obviously, if we're running Favonius Warbow, to better synergize with the weapon, we want to build up crit. So we would ideally want a crit rate helmet with energy recharge as a substat, attack percent as a substat, and elemental mastery. Elemental mastery, energy recharge, and attack percent and crit rate are the most important stats for Venti, so he can constantly generate energy for himself and have bigger, better swirls. So here we would want the same thing. Here would be Anemo damage bonus percent, because that's what's available on the goblet. So you'd want to accentuate the Anemo damage bonus that he's going to be dealing, because that's pretty much all he's going to be dealing. Here we would want energy recharge percent on here. We would also want attack percent. We could also go elemental mastery depending on how much energy recharge percent you already have on Venti. If you're running Favonius Warbow, you don't need energy recharge percent on here because you already have plenty. So you're going to want elemental mastery because he already gets his ult back very, very, very quickly. But you could run energy recharge percent so you get it back even faster. But I think, I can't confirm, I don't know exactly how energy recharge works. I don't know if it's soft caps. So I don't know. I don't know if it has diminishing returns or what. I'd have to test it and find out. And same thing here, elemental mastery, crit rate, attack percent. and energy recharge are your goals. Same thing here. Same thing here, like I said. So, the way you build in Genshin Impact, you have to look at your unit. You have to decide what role do I want this unit to be, right? You have to go through these details. And you have to see the stats. You have to say, okay, this is a support unit that's going to be basing their damage on elemental reactions. So we're going to want to focus on elemental mastery, and this unit is very cooldown dependent. It's very dependent on their skills and their ult. If this unit's super dependent on their ult, then we're going to want a lot of energy recharge. If this unit is going to be needing to deal damage and lots of it, okay, then we're going to want to focus attack. We're going to want to focus on attack, crit rate, and crit damage, as well as elemental type damage bonus, whether that's physical, geo, damage, cryo, whatever. So you see what I'm getting at here. You have to identify what your unit is, identify how the unit is going to function inside of a team, and what they're going to want to do, what their role is going to be. Are they going to be a damage dealer? They're going to be a support? They're going to be a healer? Whatever. Then you're going to want to build on top of those stats using this appropriate sets. Like this is my Barber. You guys see I always run Barber, and I don't use anything with Barber because the set just carries itself, right? So you're going to find out what goes best with her build and what's best with everything. Anyways, if you guys have more questions on how to build, you can reach me in the Discord from my channel description. You can reach me there, ping me, hit me up, ask me, hey, I got questions on how you think this unit should function, and I'll ask you more questions about how you want the unit to function, because you can really build anybody anyway. You could run DPS Venti, you could run DPS Barbara, doesn't matter. The point is, you identify how you want to build a unit, and you find things to accentuate certain things to really complement the unit's already strengths. Because you can have 4 units in a team, you want to complement the unit's strengths and make a cohesive unit of a team that can just demolish all content. Anyways, if you have any questions, hit me up in Discord. Peace.